Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
A very regal ride, which ferried the Queen on a rare trip out of the public's gaze, is going on show for Tasmanians on Thursday's public holiday. The post-war Packard ushered the Royals on a secret trip to Launceston's Cataract Gorge in 1954, under the cover of darkness.
Ken Silver had a right royal job on his hands when he acquired this 1946 Packard Clipper. The old girl needed a full restoration, but after years of toil, it's now a ride once again fit for a king or queen.
They are a lasting car, a reliable car.
And one with a unique link to the Queen's life during her short stay at the rural property Connerville near Cressy in 1954.
It took the Queen and the Duke from Connerville, brought them into Launceston at night time to see the new lights in the Cataract Gorge.
The trip after dark gave the Queen a rare moment of privacy while out in public on her Tasmanian tour. Of course, it didn't mean the Queen had to sacrifice comfort. The Packard cost 6 times what a common Ford did back then and was aimed at the well-heeled.
All the film stars drove them, but you nearly had to be a film star to own one.
In the days well before bulletproof cars and endless security detail travelling behind, Her Majesty would have sat right here in the back seat for her trip into town.
Cars were a lot different then too. They didn't have to put seatbelts on. There was no airbags. There was nothing but big strong bumper bars.
And you can bump into it on Thursday at the National Automobile Museum of Tasmania from 10 till 2 in all its glory.
The batteries don't go flat even.
They don't make them like they used to. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Wildlife investigators are trying to determine how more than a dozen dead sperm whales washed ashore on King Island. Locals made the gruesome discovery at a fishing area near Whalebone Bay. The Department of Natural Resources says the sperm whales were all young males and dead at the time it was first reported.
Strandings can occur for a whole bunch of different reasons. At this stage, we don't have anything really to suggest what might have caused this.
Biologists travelled to the island to carry out further investigations, while residents are being reminded to keep their distance from the carcasses. The state government is stepping in to care for Tasmanians experiencing long COVID. Those with ongoing symptoms will be able to access support through a post-COVID navigation service.
Spruiking a new health service targeting Tasmanians suffering from long COVID.
It's estimated that between 10 and 35% of people that have COVID have lasting effects of COVID. That could be lingering cough, that could be fatigue, it could be brain fog, a number of symptoms that you would associate with post-COVID-19.
The government announcing its statewide support service, helping Tasmanians navigate through the symptoms.
The important thing is here for people experiencing long COVID is that you're not alone. This is a $400,000 commitment from the state government to support people with long COVID in our community.
Individuals who are suffering for more than 3 months will need a referral from their GP to be able to access a service run through COVID at Home Plus.
The aim of the service is to provide a single point of entry for GPs and health professionals. Our primary objective of the service is to assist individuals to manage their own self-management of their own symptoms.
It's a service the state needs more than ever, with first responders striking over wages and working conditions.
Only last night we saw paramedics walk off the job here. In fact, right across the health service we've seen workers striking in recent months. It's a clear indication of the fact that they feel overwhelmed by their workload.
We're continually investing in our paramedic workforce, which I know Tasmanians want and deserve. We've said we'd negotiate in good faith when it comes to wages and conditions with respective unions, and we will.
But the union says paramedics are planning further action next week. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tributes are pouring in on social media following the death of photographer Matthew Farrell. The former Hobart-based snapper died yesterday after a plane he was piloting crashed in Victoria's high country. His work taking him all over the world, including stints with the BBC and Discovery Channel and locally at the Mercury. Mr Farrell was 42. Tasmanian Labor is facing increasing pressure to back the state government's problem gambling reforms. The opposition is yet to outline its official position in response to the government's plan, which includes mandatory pre-commitment technology. The Greens questioning whether a memorandum of understanding signed between the party and the hospitality industry before the last election is a factor in the delay.
This Labor opposition stands for nothing. They aren't prepared to back in evidence-based harm minimisation measures.
We're going to take some time to consider the government's policy announcements last week. We want to understand the details. Often the devil is in the details.
Labor also says it wants to understand how changes will be implemented. The pitching has started as local council nominations close, among them Hobart City Council candidates wanting to take e-bike riding to the next level in hopes to make Hobart the e-bike capital of Australia. The move aims to improve traffic around the CBD while promoting health and wellbeing.
Excited about riding e-bikes, so we're hoping to set up an e-bike library where people can come and learn how to ride bikes. They can get the experience before they buy. So we think that's really important.
Almost 750 candidates have nominated, with voting compulsory. Albert Van Zetten has officiated his last citizenship ceremony as Mayor of Launceston, welcoming 49 new Australian citizens to the community from a number of countries, including Canada, India, Singapore and the Philippines.
As an Australian citizen whose rights and liberties I respect.
I've been here for like 6 years, and all the journey of paperwork, it all, how do I say that? It's all worth it. Yeah, yes. It's all worth the wait, and we're very grateful, and we're in the last stage of it, and yes. We were already an Australian. Aussie, oi. Yes.
The official ceremony and celebration took place at the tram sheds. Female school students from across Tasmania were given an insight into working with renewable energy. Girls in Power is aimed at sparking interest in science and technology and help achieve gender parity in the industry. Students will be challenged to help build a hydropower system during the two-day event, with a variety of roles available in the sector on show.
We don't even know what those careers are, but absolutely we can be positive that the future is looking very bright for renewable energy in Tasmania.
I love the environment and want to be able to, have my brain and my input in my career going towards something that I'm passionate about.
Students will also get the chance to visit a number of Hydro's power generation sites.
Good evening. David Boone says he'd love to see former Test captain Tim Payne back involved in Tasmanian cricket in some form. The Australian great today began his newest role, unveiled as the new chairman of Cricket Tasmania.
Over 4 decades, David Boone has worn many hats. He's been a player, selector, administrator and match official, also becoming a national icon.
Let us face Launceston and pray. Legend! Legend! Dead set legend!
He's now Cricket Tasmania chairman, elected yesterday to replace Andrew Gagan. Adding to a busy schedule, which includes being an ICC match referee, the 107 Test veteran is relishing the opportunity.
We're looking as a board and me personally as a chairman to just keeping that moving forward and to nurture the game.
He says the organisation's focus remains the same.
Allow young kids, both male and female, to play initially and then to get the opportunity to play for their state and for their country.
Also confident its relationship with Cricket Australia remains strong, despite their blistering attack of head office over the Tim Payne saga. As for the former Test captain's future, the new chair says the door is open.
We have a very strong relationship, and his involvement would be a plus at any level.
The elevation of Boone to the chairmanship comes at a time of debate over the future of Tasmania's home of cricket. He says while any new stadium is a long way from happening, securing key international fixtures remains a priority of the board.
We will always push and try and get as much international content as we can here in Tasmania.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
3 local venues are on FIFA's short list of base camps which could host teams in next year's Women's World Cup. Lightwood Park in Kingston, plus Churchill Park and Birch Avenue in Launceston are among 35 places visiting teams will potentially end up once they arrive in Australia.
We're talking about one of the biggest sporting events in the world now. I think there was 1.5 billion viewers of the Women's World Cup in France.
We know that it won't just be the teams and their management that come, but their supporters have proven in the past with those tournaments that they travel as well.
Valley Road didn't make the cut due to issues around meeting rooms and security at local hotels. Tassie's Tiger Jack Rewalt believes a Macquarie Point Stadium can become as much a cultural hub as a sporting one. In the state for a better milk promotion, Rewalt is optimistic the state's AFL push will succeed as stakeholders try to clear the stadium hurdle.
Ultimately as well, the arts is a really big part of Tasmanian culture and getting more rock concerts down here, getting more music bands, doing big things in that art space is really important, and I think that precinct could become a really central hub for Tasmanian culture and sport.
Rewalt is an ambassador for Better Milk, which is giving away $100,000 to local sports clubs. Collingwood has cut former Launceston player Isaac Chugg from its list. He played 2 senior matches at the club after being snapped up by the Magpies in last year's rookie draft. Tasmanian Hamish McKenzie could only watch as Britain's Josh Tarling snatched gold at the tail end of the junior time trial at the Road Cycling World Championships. McKenzie had led for most of the day.
For Australia, top of the leaderboard. That is a spectacular time on restricted gears, an average speed of 48.9 kilometres an hour.
McKenzie's time was 19 seconds off Tarling. Fellow Tasmanian Will Eves finished 18th. Overnight, the Jack Jumpers went down to the Adelaide 36ers by 8 points in the NBL Blitz in Darwin.
Good evening, Hobart, Grove, Ouse and St Helens. Our high today of 18 degrees. Launceston 16 and 14 the top today for Burnie and Devonport. Lyre-Weenie had a cool night, -4 the low. Strawn, Friendly Beaches, Smithton and King Island all 16. Flinders Island and Lowhead 15 today, and Lyre-Weenie a top of 11. Widespread low cloud over the west as higher cloud extended across the remainder of the state. Plenty more coming too. That's the story for later. An onshore flow brought low-level cloud to southeast Australia and southern WA. Another band of cloud extends from central Australia across to our west, and cloud with embedded thunderstorms is over the Northern Territory through to southern Queensland. Tomorrow, a high moves away to our east, directing a warm northeasterly airstream over the state. A large area of low pressure and associated fronts moves over Victoria and New South Wales. Northeast to northwest winds over the west and south. North to northeasterly winds across the north and east. Swells at 3.5 metres. Those winds in the west will get up to around 30 knots, prompting a strong wind warning for waters between southeast Cape and Stanley. We have a minor flood warning too that continues for the Macquarie River. Tomorrow for Hobart, a top of 20, a cloudy day, 20 for Geeveston, partly cloudy for Bothwell and 19 degrees. Launceston, a high of 22 and partly cloudy. Devonport up to 18 degrees and Cressy 20. Burnie tomorrow shooting for a top of 16, 19 for Strawn, Curry partly cloudy, 17 the top on King Island, 19 the high for St Helens and Swansea, and Orford fine but cloudy. Thursday, showers developing over the northeast with possible light showers elsewhere. Showers over most areas on Friday as the winds shift southwesterly later, and on Saturday a few more showers more likely over the west with temperatures dropping somewhat, compared to tomorrow at least anyway. Showers and 20 in Perth tomorrow, showers easing from Adelaide, a cloudy 20 in Melbourne. Sydney, some late rain there and showers increasing over Brisbane. Cloudy conditions at the moment, 13 in Hobart, 11 right now in Launceston, cloudy and 12 in Devonport. And Kim, after watching us all wear black over the last couple of weeks nearly, I do concur that, yes, it is a very slimming colour, isn't it?
You're referring to you there. Much more slimming that red and white suit that you do love to wear. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Good night.